I got a little bit of a sailor's mouth.
That's all good, dude. That's all good.
I can zip it up when I need to, but I try. I keep it. I keep it PG-13. Something like.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, let's see. Talk again. I want to make sure my levels are good.
Yeah. How do I sound? I sound all right.
Yeah.
Check. Check.
Yep. Let me turn up the volume just slightly on yours, just to make sure we're all balanced out, and we'll be cruising, bro. All right. Oh, my bad, dude.
I'm in my home studio with a mic right behind me, but I'm computer audio today.
Yeah, dude. I get that, man. Sometimes it's just easier, especially when you're trying to get crap set up and get it
Yeah.
all rolling. You just gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. It sound all right though.
Yeah, dude, it sounded good. Yeah, the nice thing is when I come through in the post processing, I'm able to do a little bit of compression, make it sound a little bit nicer, a little bit more crisp. So, and as long as it's not cutting out, that's the only time I really am like, all right, we gotta cut this.
Should be all right.
Yeah, dude, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. All right, dude. Well, man, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast, bro. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Happy to be here.
So I always like to just start out with a quick introduction. Tell the people who you are, something unique about you. Elementary school style.
Oh,
What happened that you needed to get the plate?
that was football or rugby. It was football. I played both. I was high school football, and that was long ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was great. I got to make a big dramatic shtick about it all year to all the girls.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, especially in high school.
Yeah, you got to make a name for yourself. I was running around with the
I mean, there's a lot to be said about not choosing to permanently change things, right? Like with the
yeah.
gauges. I mean, to me, I don't really care, but I think
Oh,
that there's an advantage to giving yourself, I guess, one extra leg up in
yeah. No,
potential opportunities. I don't know.
I still think they're sick, and I'll throw my just a regular earring.
You're a lost cause now.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, dude, that's awesome. So what position did you play in football?
I was like a wide receiver. I didn't play a whole lot of defense, but then when I hurt the wrist, is what got me into like the rugby stuff, and I played that through college. Took a couple years off, but just this year out here in Denver, I started playing again, and that was a little bit of a jump in competition for sure. Playing, I was getting dragged around a little bit, but it's fun. It's
Yeah.
another outlet. Same as metal, same as anything. Like,
Yeah.
speaking to my mom, she'll be like, "Are you angry? Why are you screaming and yelling all the time, running around hitting people?" I'm like, "No, I'm good. Like I do those things, and I'm
And that's
like, I'm
I'm good. It relieves
yeah.
everything right there.
Yeah.
Dude,
But
that's
yes,
funny.
still definitely a big Steeler guy. Big Sundays. Take Sundays off. Half jock, half musician, whatever. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. But
Hey, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. You said you're a big Steelers guy, huh?
yeah, I'm where half the band's.
They, they're doing pretty all right, right? With Rudolph in, he's pretty good.
Yeah, I wish they would just get a draft pick, just tank a little bit. You know, they're not big on the starting over. You know, there's an arrogance.
Well, there's
we're the Steelers and we don't have losing seasons. Well, maybe you should.
channel that just kills me. It's hilarious. It's called Pittsburgh Dad.
Yeah. Pittsburgh Dad's called classic. Or now it's bigger now though, for sure.
Yeah, dude. I don't know anything about Pittsburgh. I've never been there or anything, but dude, that killed me. I was dying. You know, he's talking about football and all. I'm just like, I don't know if this is really how dads were, but holy crap, this is hilarious.
Oh, man. You come on down Pittsburgh.
Oh, dude, I was like I said, I was dying. I thought it was so funny. And oh man. Yeah, so you're still playing some rugby then?
Yeah, a little bit here and there. It's a fun sport, man. It's like, you just kind of you run around, you let some steam off. Reminds me of Turkey Bowl being a kid. There's no blocking, it's just like it's a you call it as you see it. You go chase the ball around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not much of a, we all need to stay in shape, especially being.
Like I picked up mountain biking this summer for that same
Yeah.
reason, because like I go to the gym, but man, cardio is like my enemy. It's so boring. It's so like I feel like it makes me depressed, like doing
Yeah.
cardio for no reason, you know?
Yeah, I know some people love it, and I don't know if it's.
And that's the thing too, is it's like it burns so few calories, and like, I don't know. I ran track in high school, and ever since then I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'll skip out on running anymore ever.
You're dusting people, I'm sure.
Oh, dude, my wife, she's like, she had like some goals in mind, right? And so when she has a goal, she's gonna make it happen. And so one of her goals was to run a half marathon, and then she completed that like a champ, and she's like, okay, well now I'm gonna do a marathon. And I was like, you're a moron. But she did it, dude. She killed it. She crushed it. And
Awesome.
I made her a little vinyl for the back of her car, 13.1 been there, 26.2 done that. I was like, because I was like super stoked for her. I was like, I told her, I was like, I love you, but I will never join you. I will never. I'll support you emotionally, and like I'll support you at the finish line, but I will not support you like physically there. I won't be there like in the race. I won't do it.
Yeah. like I said, I made it to the finish line, but
I mean,
people like your wife and others like legitimately run that and time themselves. I was walking.
yeah,
For
no, yeah, my wife is like she's a mental hero, right? So
yeah,
like the thing that because she wasn't gonna run it on her own. Like the thing was is like when she was doing her marathon training, she was running like 15, 16 miles every Saturday. I was like, this is ridiculous, right? Like this is
crazy. On your
absurd.
knees and stuff, man. Too. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just like, what are you doing, woman? And I was just like I said, I was stoked for her because it was a goal of hers, and her bucket list item has been achieved. But dude, oh, I'm completely on board with you, dude. Like I will run like crazy when it involves like playing tag with my kids or playing a sport. But the moment it comes to just repetitive running, I'm just like, nah, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but one of these days.
I don't know. I don't know that it'll ever click for me, dude.
I
Like
know it won't click. I know.
yeah, I'm like, dude, I don't think there's ever gonna be a time because my best friend, like one of my best friends, his father-in-law does like Ironmans and stuff. And I see
Yeah.
this guy, he's like 60, and I'm like, dude, this guy is in crazy good shape. He out like we is out in Charlotte, South Carolina. They took us out on their boat. He puts on his wetsuit. It was November, right? We were there for Thanksgiving. And he puts on his wetsuit and goes out and like wake surfs off the back of the boat. He's like, anyone want to come join me? And I was like, you're psycho. I was like, dude, no. But he was like, super awesome guy. That type of stuff. I'm just like, middle of winter. I'm not. Well, I guess it's beginning of winter, but I'm like, I'm not about to get in the water, even if I have a wetsuit.
Sure enough, yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
dude. So obviously, this podcast is supposed to be about colony collapse. So we'll switch gears, and get on board, get on track.
Talk about that. I don't want to talk about that no more.
Dude, no, I that's actually one of my favorite like things about having the podcast platform is it's a lot less structured, so we can get off track and not feel like we're wasting time or anything. But all right, dude. So tell me a little like a real brief history of Colony Collapse up to this point, and then we'll obviously jump into the band because this is just kind of let people know who you guys are and a little bit about you guys. And I'll also admit when I was talking to Cody, getting this all set up, I am a little bit ignorant to the music. I don't listen to a whole lot of metal music, so I don't know a whole lot about it. So this is my time to learn too. So this is fun. I would listen to like the hardest I ever listened to back in the day was Silverstein, and that's just because Shane Told is, I don't know, he's incredible.
Good podcast too.
Yeah, dude, his podcast is dope, and he's just an incredible musician. So like, that was the hardest music I ever listened to. So I was typically like New Found Glory, Simple Plan. I was a pop punk kid. So yeah, this is fun for me because it's a genre that I haven't really dove into much. questions that come from that, because obviously, what you said is it was, two of you guys love music. You both moved out to Colorado together, which is a pretty big deal, right? Like anytime you make a leap like that, it typically it comes with a lot of risk and a lot of potential reward, right? It all comes down to what is kind of what you're ready to do, I guess. And so what motivated the move? Why did you guys choose to take that leap and leave Pittsburgh and go all the way to Colorado?
Yeah, so it wasn't my idea. That's for sure. That's for damn sure. I was in college at the time, so I definitely had to like think about if that was the right timing for me, and I was gonna have to drop out and do a whole bunch of explaining about that to people really forever. You know what I mean? Like, just
Yeah.
like, wow, well, why'd you do that? I mean, but yeah, I just think, like I said, we had been being this essentially like a studio band for a couple of years in Pittsburgh and making albums, um, but struggling to find a lineup. And that wasn't just something that it was like, oh, this drummer on music. So looking back
Yeah.
in retrospect, I don't even know why Denver specifically. It in my head it feels almost random, but here we are, and we've got a lineup, and there's been a couple good years here making progress. Like it was a good call, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. That's a like you said, I mean, even the idea that you were like, hey, get the drummer, get everything squared away, and then I'll come. There's still a big risk there, because it's like a lot of times people don't account for the fact that like you're still having to pay bills, right? Like you're still coming there, like, yeah, you're leaving job the same, maybe same type of jobs, even going from Pittsburgh to Colorado. But like the fact is, like, you're leaving a lot of comforts, a lot of like the things that we take for granted on a regular basis of having that security blanket of your family there, and having your friends who are there to kind of bolster you up when things go poorly and stuff. And obviously making that move out to Denver is brutal. Like that's a lot of work, a lot of emotions, and a lot of energy and stuff. And so with with that move and stuff, like what are some of the things that you've really appreciated, though, like from making that leap and taking that chance?
Well, I mean, you could look at that. You could look at that two ways. Like I appreciate a lot about where I'm from and the people I did leave behind, because, like you said, in their absence, that can be striking,
Mm-hmm.
especially on days when maybe you get a day off and it just doesn't hit like it used to because you got nothing to do. It's like I'd rather be working, and because I mean it's hard to start over,
Yeah.
especially when like all of us living in this house doing music, you can't really get away from it. It's just like you're just throwing pillows at each other at 4 a.m. with song ideas, and it's like you can't escape it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
also, I've definitely have made friends here. It's been a couple years now. I appreciate the sacrifices of everyone else in the band because it's definitely, especially being the vocalist, I'll go yapping about this in our songs and it's just like, woe is me. But, you forget everybody did it. Everybody came.
Yep.
you know? But yeah, I guess it makes you appreciate the little things like you were saying that you do miss on a day-to-day basis when you're somewhere that you're comfortable and somewhere that you know. Yeah, that was hard, but it's kind of, I got some of that stuff out and put it on pen and paper on this new record and some of these singles. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't. I wouldn't say the whole thing specifically. Like
I was joking with my wife about this today, like about musicians and like their writing process and kind of the muse, right? The things that or the thing or things that motivate them or inspire them. And because I was joking about how I'm fairly certain that Taylor Swift is like Psycho.
though, she's fantastic.
Yeah, she's super talented, but like she wrote this like extended version of one of her songs about Jake Gyllenhaal. She dated him for like 3 months and then wrote like a 11-minute song about him. And I was just like, you kind of have to be a little bit crazy emotionally as a musician to write good music. You have to be a little bit crazy, because there's you have to be crazy enough to be vulnerable and share that information. You have to also be crazy enough to actually like I don't know, like to think about it that deeply and to be willing to get it out there. Like and it's it's a whole world that a lot of people quite honestly don't get to experience. They don't really look introspectively like a musician would because you're sitting there with your thoughts and you're putting them to paper. You're not just letting them fester or stew inside. And with that process for you, as you've been, particularly with all this new music that you've been writing and all these things that you were talking about with, kind of the nostalgia and coping with everything in life, like what are some of the biggest like positive outcomes that have come from being a musician for you?
That's tough. Well, first of all, I definitely agree with everything you're saying about um, like I'll write something down sometimes that like seems like a simple thought I've had 1,000 times, but when you like write it down, somehow transferring it into a tangible realm, it's just like, yeah, that is what I think. Or I'll hear it in a song that I really like, and I'll be like, oh man, this guy just like said it. Like that's something I'm trying to get better at. Is being less obfuscated and less like spacey with some of my phrasings. But so that's a great point. Some of the things you say, some of the things the positive things of being a musician.
Yeah, like some of the things like that have helped you or made things easier or better in life by being a musician, because like it's so easy to find the things to complain about, right? But like I imagine that there's obviously many reasons why you continue making music, and so i'm
Right.
i'm just kind of curious what are some of the things that have really been a positive impact for you?
The weird thing about music with me, and I've talked about this with even like
No, that I mean that actually makes a lot of sense. Because like when I think about that and I think about what you're talking about, it it's really important to find that thing that gets you excited, gets you up in the morning, something that keeps you up at night, wakes you up in the morning because you're so excited about it, so ready for it, like that's what really like it comes down to is you've got to find that thing that gets you so excited that you'll do anything it takes to make that a reality. And that's the thing that when I talk to musicians, there's so many times where people just don't get why a musician is willing to work the odd jobs and to put so much energy into things that aren't music just to make it so they can spend every other minute on music.
Yeah, it's like because the odd jobs always just feel like a vessel. It's like, well, yeah, I'm at work right now because I have to be at work because we have to cover this bill for the record or whatever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and like there's other things I try to be frugal as possible because like I don't know, I'm not even saying I'm great with money, but other things I'll be like, oh man, that's expensive. Like, I gotta steal this turkey from the grocery store because I don't got no one. But with music, I'll be like $800. That's easy money. I got it. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like it's a different part of my head, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and it's because of what it's doing for, like, I don't know, like the best word that comes to my mind is like freeing, like when you're working on that stuff, it's basically freeing your mind to become the next step, right? To kind of accomplish the next step in life. And with what you were talking about, just the way that being a musician makes you feel, as well as like doing stuff that you quote unquote couldn't do elsewhere, but able to do it with music. Like when did you realize that, like, obviously you said that being music, like wanting to help your dad and stuff, was always there, but what was the moment that you were like, holy crap, I've got the chops to really do something with this?
The chops and the moment that I actually do remember a moment harken back to the sports thing because my other dream was to like be a football player for like a little while.
Because you're from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, just being a young kid, you know what I mean? Like I'm talking like pretty young. And I was
Yeah.
tossing the football on the street and I was like, I'm gonna have to make a decision between music and football. Like, there was one that I could accomplish and one that I couldn't. But the chops thing, I don't even know either because like I feel like I was so like I started on like piano. Well, I started on drums. Drums is my first instrument, and that one came pretty naturally to me. I had a kit when I was really little. I just used a picture of me for a solo track playing drums, being like 3 or 4 as an album art because I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I found it in my house.
Heck yeah, dude.
This is free, But so I played drums, and that was like my musical background. That was like my thing, and I pick up piano a little bit, just enough that I was playing chords, and that's how in the first band I was in, I would try to teach riffs to the guitarist banging on the piano. You know what I mean? Just using octaves as power chords, which I didn't know what that. You know what I mean? I didn't know what that was, but guitar, completely foreign to me. And I was just like, all right, I play piano and I play drums. And again, I was pretty bad at piano at that point in time. So I just kept tinkering on piano and working on singing because that's also something I always did, but got better at as I got older and took some vocal lessons. My neighbor across the street, great vocal coach. Also like one of my childhood friends' moms. So I was like, I'm gonna go over to your house and like learn how to sing.
Nice.
He did like wonders for that, and to this day probably hates that I'm still screaming, but the singing, that was great.
Yeah.
And then I'm 16 and my mom maybe both my parents got me like 5 guitar lessons. I took those, and then he taught me like the basic chord shapes, and then I just dicked around on guitar for a while. I didn't take too many lessons after that. Like it definitely didn't happen overnight, and I have bad habits to this day from the fact that I kind of just learned them all by messing around.
Yeah.
But it's like, again, like it's everything you keep saying, it's fascinating the way you're looking at it. Because I almost never think about it that way. I just like, I can remember sucking at guitar, but knowing I didn't want to suck at guitar. And I can remember like this morning playing something and being like, yeah, I just played that. Like, let's go. Like,
Yeah.
it just like happens quick. Not again, not because I'm like virtuosic or anything, just because I almost don't think about it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
time goes by, I mostly focus on other stuff, but every time I'm on the couch, I'm playing guitar or like something. So you kind of like blink one day, and this is how it was with Jackson too. Just when we were growing up, we were just pushing each other to be as good as we could, because we definitely always had a concept of what we did that was like not good. Like even we'd like release something and just immediately quickly just be like, that is not what we wanted to do. Like that was not right. And when we were writing it, it always felt like the right thing.
Yeah.
It's been the same feeling every time I finish any song. I'm like, yes, the best thing ever. But like a week will go by. No, not the best thing ever. So again, this is long-winded. I don't mean
no,
like,
it's perfect, dude. I love it.
but I guess I'm saying there wasn't like a day where I was like, maybe I can actually do it. Like I feel like I got to the point I am today because I thought I could do it and kind of just like shrugged and said like, I just gotta start somewhere or whatever. And I was writing from a young age too, which always kept me within my own parameters because I could only write as much as I could play. So like, you know, all I had to do was write some pretty bad songs and hone in on the moments where I was almost on to something. You know, I still remember a couple that I have from like my childhood piano, all out of tune and shit, like a couple choruses. Every once in a while, I almost try to shoehorn them into something. And I'm always like, do not bring back this 10-year-old idea. But like I remember the good moments more than the bad moments, which I feel like looking back is like indicates to me that that's what I was focusing on. And I had a good way of discerning like that 95% of it wasn't like what I wanted from myself, and that helped me get better. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because like definitely, like I said, I'm not like 6 years old and just playing like crazy stuff. Like I'm not that good, but
Yeah.
I definitely, you know, I can play some instruments now at this point in my life, and but I feel the same about it all as I did when I was like really struggling to play like Song 2 by Blur or whatever. You know what I mean? Like when I play something, I feel similar about where I'm at with it and where I need to get to. Like it's same as what I was talking about earlier with why I write and stuff. It's just like it's this background thing that is so normal to me at this point that I don't even really think about it. And it is really interesting to hear you talk about like the way that you see that and as like a release and a way to get up in the morning and be excited at night, because sometimes I lose sight of that. And that is definitely true and cool to hear, and maybe a little bit grounding that like, you know, it's not so bad that I'm out here just, you know, guitars behind me, cool little room.
Yeah,
and
dude.
If I want to play guitar until 4 a.m, I can do that because I live, you know, I don't got any parents in the house. You know, that's cool. I need a little reminder sometimes that
dude,
that's not so bad.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like there's always, no matter what someone chooses, like I always used to love the quote, you know, like people used to always say, do what you love and you won't work a day in your life. It's like, no, that's the biggest lie. It's do what you love, and when the times get hard and you feel like giving up, you won't, because it's all worth it, right? It's because when you love something, you work even harder at it. And your work days, you know, it was Mark Cuban. He said, you know, people become entrepreneurs so they can give up 40 hours a week, 40-hour work weeks for, you know, 120-hour work weeks.
Yeah.
And it's
like Pittsburgh guy too. Funny.
Is he Pittsburgh?
He's like Monroeville, yeah, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, well, he's become, you know, a born again Dallas Texan now, though, right?
Yes. And you know, we don't have an NBA team, so we don't mind.
Oh yeah, that's true. Y'all just have, do you just root for the 76ers then?
I feel like most people would maybe go Cavs. I don't know. People can bandwagon. People can choose who they want to choose.
Oh, that's yeah. We've got the Jazz. We got the Jazz here in Utah, you know.
Yeah. No, Jazz are good.
Yeah. Y'all got the Nuggets. You got the Nuggets now. You can root for the Nugs.
Aren't bad either. I go down to games sometimes, you know, I bring my sports betting and all that. Oh,
Yeah, dude.
my existence. But yeah, sorry.
The
I
bane
agree
of
with
your
you.
existence.
I agree.
Oh,
Yeah, the
dude.
Cuban thing though, I agree with that. Like you definitely, it just doesn't feel as taxing, I guess, as doing something that doesn't. I don't know. I was talking to somebody about that this summer, and he was just, I don't know, going on a little bit of a rant about like, how he doesn't feel like, we met at the restaurant and how he doesn't feel like he has a thing and doesn't know what like that passion's supposed to be, or whatever. And without getting too much into his shit, like I could tell that was like taxing and weighing on him pretty heavy. And yeah, I mean, like that is kind of the pursuit in life, I guess, is to find like a thing. And then other than that, friends, family, you know what I mean? Conversation. That's kind of art. That's kind of all it is. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? In my head. So
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so there's, I don't know if you've ever heard of what is it called? The Gallup Clifton Strengths Test, I think is what it's called. It's like this it literally is a test all about like your strengths as a human, right? Like, and the thing that I liked about it is it breaks it out into strengths, not weaknesses, right? It's what you're most strong at and what you're least strong at, not what you're weak at. None of it's weaknesses. All of them are positive attributes. It's just a matter of which attributes are you more energized by, right? And
okay.
so I took this whole assessment. It's a pretty in depth. It took me like an hour to do this whole assessment to like learn. It was basically asking me really in depth questions about various ways that I'd handle situations or handle individuals or things like that. And I learned a lot about the things that are my strengths, right? And one of the things that I was reading about is with this whole thing is if you focus on your strengths, you become energized. And if you try to change your strengths, you've got your kind of core 5 to 15 strengths that are kind of define who you are, right? Then there's 36 total strengths that everyone kind of has pieces of. That obviously this is just their assessment, but if you try to improve another strength that you don't have as strong, it's going to be exhausting. And so, I thought that was really interesting that when you lean into things that you're good at and things that you love, like you said, it's energizing. It's not that you aren't working hard at it, but it's that it gives you energy and it gives you excitement and it gives you something to look forward to, as opposed to when you're trying to work on something you don't care about, it literally just drains every little bit of you away. And it basically is denying who you are almost. And so I think it's really cool when people have found that and run with it, because I go back to, even your move to Denver, like I go back to that because it's taking that leap of faith and saying, well, I could fail, but I'm going to do it because this is what I need to do. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is what defines me. And I guess I apologize. I kind of was long-winded on that, but I was just thinking about all of that and like with what you were talking about as a musician and how you got into the music and just like how different it is spending money on music versus non-music stuff. I am very curious, like, obviously, when did the band start again?
I would say it was like it's a little foggy because Jackson and I were in this Facebox band that kind of morphed into Colony Class, probably like 2015. I would
Okay.
say.
But you moved to Denver in
2018.
2018. So,
Yeah.
you moved to Denver 2018. You guys have been making music for the past 3 years. You said Jackson left the band. Like, I'm very curious with that. Like, I'm obviously like the reasoning and stuff isn't really a big deal to me, but like I'm curious with how you responded, like, because it is so important to you, because it was someone who, I mean, you moved to Denver because of him, right? Like, all of
Yeah.
this stuff. So what was that like for you? Obviously, you're still making music and still killing it. So like, what was it for you when that happened?
Yeah. Yeah. Jackson was I mean, kind of like my muse in a lot of ways. I still hear his voice in my head when I'm writing something, which is something I feel like maybe we both took with each other. You know what I mean? And I still talk to him, send him songs, vice versa. So like honestly, but we used to have a good, trade off and um yeah, it's like just the chemistry we developed over the years or whatever. That was real. Can't fabricate it, can't do it again without next thing you know, I'm like, 35 at that point with somebody who I
Yeah.
just, you know, um, so when he did leave, which is recent, I just feel like I would not have been ready for that years ago. But at this point, I mean, we learned so much from one another. I think that I can take the band in, a direction that will be stinted towards my parts in the past because I'm me and he's him. We're not the
Yeah.
same writer. We were a cool, cohesive whole when two heads are always going to be better than one. So hardcore fans of the band might recognize songs going forward as, oh, wow, this sounds a lot like the bridge section of this. And that'll be legitimate because that'll just be my influence on it. But
Yeah.
I definitely feel ready to write the stuff, you know, taking the lead on it. Keenan definitely writes to the other guys in the band. I'm excited actually to sort of restart with them and maybe write some more things live, get in a room, you know what I mean? Stuff
Yeah.
we don't do as much doing the progressive nonsense and we have done before that. We did it on Class Call. The main riff in that song we wrote at practice, which is like rare for us because we A, don't practice enough, and B, we're just we're a Logic type band. We all produce and we like sit in the studio and wank over shit like that. So it's definitely like but it's a new horizon thing. I mean, I don't know if you see right here. This is my board of
Oh, nice, dude.
I've got stuff on it. I've definitely been writing. I'm definitely excited about some stuff we have coming out the rest of this year that is, from the original lineup. But definitely, it's a big leap, and there were things that I just won't be able to do the same. The synth and auxiliary instruments is something that he was just great at and was just starting to like get to a point when getting analog synths and really like make that jump into like, damn, you're making some noises. Like you were born in the wrong era with these analog crazy. So it's a bummer, honestly. But the way it happened, I mean, like you said, the details, I never really went public with them, and it's definitely, not really important because at the end of the day, it's all good feelings, and I'm plan on sending him anything I ever plan on releasing under this band name, as in like, this shit's done. I want to hear what he has to say first because I respect no one's opinion more. And at the end of the day, like it'll always be, me and his thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we literally were just sitting in a Get Go parking lot drinking energy drinks, and we were like, we should start a metalcore band. And as much as the band is the four people who it is right now, and by definition and by all accounts, like it's just it's too deep. It's too deep in my head. That
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. And that's why I asked. Like I said, like the details weren't really like that's not like
yeah,
anyone's place to ask in my opinion.
yeah,
But I am always curious because like there is a lot of identity, right? A lot of identity is hinged on band members a lot of times, specifically the founding members working with one another. There's a lot of like musical identity that is built between yourselves. And so I like how you even said that, it's like everything you release is going to be shared with him because it is still his project in the sense of all of the things, all the impacts he's had and all of the emotional and like friendship ties you have and like band ties that he still has to it all. It's still his project too, even though he's not actively there.
At least to the point where, I mean, like if the four of us write something together, especially if it's together, if it's something I wrote alone, which, there's going to be songs like that most likely with this going forward, that's different. If it's something the four of us wrote and we all loved it, and I sent it to Jackson, he just like hated it. Like, it's not that like he really has like a hardcore veto,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he's
yeah,
not.
yeah.
But like it would maybe make me reevaluate it. I'd probably dig into the file and be like, all right, well, I mean, he's hearing something. He's not just being a dick. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it probably would make me, because when, vice versa, if I send him something that I'm half stoked on and he hits me back and says, or even especially when he's still in the band, that like come home from work and I'm like, I don't know if I want to show Jackson this. Like, I don't know if it's ready. Like, this is awesome. You know what I mean? I'm just like, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, we gotta finish this right now because
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
it's just because, like I said, like all those years of learning together, it just means a lot to hear from someone who knows what you're going for, that it's on the right track.
Yeah.
Because, lots of people are like, oh, I don't know, this sounds sick to me, and by no means are they wrong. Just somebody who listens casually, but I know that he knows the ins and outs of the sound. So to hear him say this is a good next chapter would mean that I'm ready to roll with it. So it'll
Yeah, dude.
definitely, I'll always be sending them demos and shit, I think.
For sure, for sure. And I'm actually curious, like I based on what you just said, I don't want you to throw anyone under the bus, but I am very curious. I haven't really asked this before because I haven't thought about it much, but who's someone who like you cannot trust at all? When you share the song with them, you can't trust their opinion at all.
Their
Like,
opinion on it?
yeah, like not because like because I know for a fact like I couldn't trust like family members. I just know that they wouldn't be honest enough with me to like actually be critical of whether it was good or bad. They just be like, oh, that's great, you know. But like, or some like there might be someone who just is like a total, jerk who's just gonna be like, dude, like you should do something else with your life, right? But like I'm just curious, like is there who's someone who like you just look and you're like, I'll share the song with you, but I can't trust your opinion on it.
I feel like there's grains of truth in shit like that. Like I would probably not send to anyone I thought was just like, because the two examples you just listed are definitely valid. Someone who's just a dick and a family who's too honest, you can't get anything out of that.
Yeah.
But even sending it to someone who really doesn't even know what they're hearing, like maybe like if they say it sucks and they just think metal is noise, maybe you don't take that all the way at face value, because there's a subset of people out there who like metal, but there's always like something, oh, but I liked this part or something. And like,
yeah,
if you ask someone who actually maybe you don't, if they hate it, it doesn't mean you're going to scrap the song. You can find little grains of truth in there, and actually like asking people outside of your regular consumer base if they like something. I also get people who go like, I don't listen to that shit, but I put your song on at the gym and now I'm bulky or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, when you hear stuff like that, you get like a crossover effect. Like, I feel like even if someone hates it, there's usually one thing you can find that they're like, but if I had to say something positive, I like when you start singing right here. And
yeah,
that's good, because then someone who does like the metal parts will probably also like that singing part.
Yeah.
And you can always find little grains of truth in even like those things. But if it was somebody I straight up didn't trust, I probably just wouldn't send them the song. I don't send everybody the demos.
Yeah. No, I get that. I was just like, I like I said, I hadn't asked that question before, but it is very curious to me, like, because there are times where I won't share, like I do a lot of like illustrations and stuff, like digital ones, like but there's a lot of times I'll share it with my wife because I'm super excited about it, and I'll ask her like what her opinion is between this and this and this, and she's like, but the thing to her is she just sees the whole thing and doesn't break down, doesn't see the details, she just says that's really nice, or I don't really like it, right? And I trust her opinion that she likes it or doesn't like it, but it's hard because she doesn't see the like all the intricate details like you were talking about, right? If it's just someone who listens casually, it's a little harder to get their opinion because they don't know what they're talking about, really.
Yeah. But like I said, like sometimes like I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, because like I said, our drummer Mason is like probably the most talented person in the band, but like Mason, he's just like such a happy-go-lucky, like easygoing guy. Like if we make a video or something where the rest of us are kind of like, I don't know if this like turned out great, like Mason just chime in and just be like, this is fucking sick. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like, and sometimes I need to hear that, because like, I'm like, that's probably what most people are going to think. And they're not going to be like, oh, the way this is, the EQ on this is all, or something little, like he's like the voice of reason to me, which isn't to say, like I said, that he doesn't know what he's talking about, because he definitely does, but he's just like, he got the right attitude that sometimes it's just like, dude, this sounds good. Like there is a time when it is good enough, and it's sometimes best to let things breathe and be what they are, and go out into the world, you know? So like, because we've sat on songs for so long that they just rot in place, you know what I mean? Like they just
dude.
Stagnant, or we move past the point where they make any sense contextually, but they would have been a nice bridge if we dropped it 2 years ago. Like that's something I'm learning over time. So yeah, like anybody's opinion, I'll take it in. I'll listen. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's always something in there.
That's interesting. That's a good point. Because I mean, there's going to be, and most people are going to be nice, right? They're going to want to try and find something that they like about it, because like, even if they don't like metalcore, they're going to be like, oh crap, like I've got to figure out something. Like he had me listen to it, you know, because people just like, they just are going to feel bad, like being like, dude, like I don't listen to this, because like that was my initial impression. So like when I very first started my podcast, this PR company was like, hey, we've got this band, and we'd like you to talk with the bass player. And I was like, cool. The band is Monument for a Memory. They're from New Jersey. Oh, cool. And at that time, I turned to my wife and I was like, because first thing I do is I look up their music and I say, all right, let's see what these guys are all about. Yeah. And it was metal. And I was like, oh, what do I do? Like, I don't know anything about this music. And I'm not a part of the scene. I'm like this like outsider who just, and my wife was like, do you like music? I was like, of course, you obviously know that. And she's like, well, the reason I ask is that's what you have in common. It doesn't have to be the same type of music that you like, but like you have that in common. So do it. And it was it was so cool. It was like a really eye-opening experience where I was like, it doesn't matter what kind of music it is. He's still a musician. And I have a lot to talk to him about, even though, you know what I mean? And so it's the same thing even in this situation with you. Like, I don't know much about metalcore or metal music. Like you were even talking about, like, you know, going the more progressive side. I'm like, it all sounds very similar to me. But the cool thing about it is being able to pick your brain as a musician, because that's a very broad term, right? Like you don't have to just be a metalcore musician. You obviously can do other things if you choose to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel that. Do you ever like look up somebody's like music and you're just like, I'm not having these guys on?
I plead the fifth.
No, because I always want to know. Because people will be like, you want to come on the podcast? And I'm like, you really want me on the podcast? Or do you hate the music? No, I'm just
No. There's only been one time. There's only been two times. There's only been two times.
Yeah, I'm going to put you on the spot in your own show.
No, there's only been two times. And I will say that it was there, like, if the person has a semblance of like, you can be a musician, I will have them on 100% of the time. But the moment that I'm like, I don't want to shatter your dreams, I don't want to be Simon Cowell on like American Idol.
No.
But y'all need a Simon Cowell in your life right now.
Oh man, no, I mean, God, there's bands out there, you know.
Yeah. No, like I said,
I've been that band.
Like I said, it's only happened twice, and and like it's awkward for me when I'm like super stoked, like, oh, someone reached out to me, and then I listen and I'm like, how do you tell this person, like, hey, maybe music isn't for you?
Yeah.
I don't want to ever say that.
Say that and then just end it.
Oh, dude. I like, the thing is like, you never know what like a year could do for them, right? Like 1 year, you know what I mean? Like they could be freaking phenomenal, but I don't want to shatter their hopes and dreams, but I also like, I don't want to be the parent who doesn't tell their ugly kid to put makeup on, you know? I'm just that was a very awful analogy, but that's my
You said swans, she said ducklings or whatever.
No, yeah, dude. Because for me, it all comes down to like, everyone has the capacity to be super talented, and so I take as many guests as I can, regardless of genre or like background or anything like that. I absolutely love it. I feel super privileged to be able to even just talk to people, because it's like the things that you guys do, like the things that you've accomplished, regardless of whether, like you said, whether it's national or international, it doesn't really matter. It's like what you're doing is the thing that a very small percentage of the population is willing to do, to take that chance and actually work that hard to even try. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and be comfortable with failure. Like you said earlier, it's really not like obviously we all got egos, but it's not like an ego thing that I feel like I have to make it so I can show up at the reunion or whatever. Yeah, I want to show up at the reunion with like a reason that I have tattoos or whatever. But like,
I like them. That's why. Suck it.
Yeah, I like them. No, it's like, yeah, like if it doesn't work out, that's fine. But I would have just like wondered for a long time. I would have been like, I could have been the next Taylor Swift if I would have just gone to Colorado, but I just couldn't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt like I could do it. So,
dude, what ifs are the absolute worst thing ever. Like, just wondering what if, and it's
it never ends.
Yeah,
part of the Love the Remains thing too. I don't know if you saw that music video, or not, but that's kind of one of the things
I did. Yeah.
In that like side story.
Yeah, freaking cool. I didn't even mention it, but yeah, that video, like the story that was being told of the guy, like I loved the light, the difference in lighting, obviously, between the different memories, like the times, whether like between now and the reminiscent of the past, like it's powerful.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Like I was saying, like it was supposed to be. I mean, you can take it that way, or you could take it as he's some guy who never got married and is like thinking, what if, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because like, that's what I mean. But I was trying to say, I was like trying to be as vague as possible in the lyrics and just talk about the general concept of thinking about forks in the road and stuff like that. So yeah, that's one of the things I was thinking about when I was writing that song, the what if, about what if I stayed in Pittsburgh. But I knew that the what if would be stronger of just like putting music on the back burner while I finished school or something. I mean, even if I got back into music, you just give yourself this forum.
You missed so much.
Yeah, or you could always use it as an excuse. You'd be like, I went back when I was after school, but if I would have gone you can't give yourself like platforms to look back. I try to avoid permanence at all costs. Like,
well, and the thing from what you're even saying there is like, I'm all about accountability, and I feel like a lot of people don't want to be accountable anymore. But it's like you're taking accountability. You're saying, hey, I know that if I don't do this now, in the future, I'll make up an excuse as to why I'm not succeeding in the future. Even if like it's being accountable. You're saying, I'm going to do what it takes right now to not have any excuses and what ifs or reasons why, justifications as to why, I'm at a desk job now and miserable in my 30s because in my 20s I was unwilling to do something that I knew I needed, Yeah.
And then you get this lack of closure too. It's like I said, like if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But anytime I recognize that there is like a monumental life decision, I feel like I always know I'm leaning a certain way. It took me months to actually, pack up and move. But like, I was just stalling. Like I knew I was going to do it because I'm so spooked of things that were like that monumental coming back with the what if question. Because it's actually the only inescapable emotion because you can't reconcile it. If you're going to ask yourself what if, you're stuck in like a feedback loop of something you can't finish, you know what I mean? And I mean, you can move on from that internally, but that's hard to do. You have to go to therapy or something for that.
Yeah, you gotta.
Like, I try to make those calls, and even if I regret it, like at least I made the, you know what I mean? Like I swung at it, kind of thing.
Yeah, you made that decision and stuck to it. Whatever that decision was, that was your choice. Like this is what your path is, and dude, like I commend you for that because, like I said, it's really easy for someone to they always have like comedians joking about that, right? Where like they're talking about, oh, back when I was your age, I could have definitely played pro football, but I just this and that and this and that, or whatever it is. It's like, oh, I was about to be a stand-up comedian, but I da 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 da, and it's like they use these really stupid justifications to explain away their lack of success, and to almost to try and like tear down someone else's success, you know. And it's just like, no, the fact is you didn't do it because you didn't. That's it. And it's like you're the guy who's like, I'm doing it because it's just who I am. It's what I'm doing. And it's like, dude, very few people can like hang their hat on that and say, I've done it. You know, I took every chance that I could, and I pushed every boundary that I could to accomplish something that very few people are willing to do. I think it's freaking incredible.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that, for real.
Yeah, dude. I am very curious with all of, you know, all of the music, all of the you know, time growing up. What led you to do metalcore? Like where was it just like, I am born to scream? Or was it like, because obviously, you know, your neighbor, I'm sure you've sent her songs and she's like, oh, this poor child, his voice.
No, because honestly, like I kind of hate screaming. I don't hate screaming. Actually, I love screaming, but it like takes such a toll on your cleans, and people, you know, there's always like a right and wrong way to do it. But like if you're gonna scream every night, you're never gonna be. I always feel like I can't be at my clean vocal peak live because of how much I'm screaming. And then I'm like, man, these people think I'm faking it. Maybe I am. I don't know. But like, but yeah, no, like I was saying earlier, I've always been doing what at the time I considered to be heavy music, and that just evolved naturally. You know what I mean? I do soft stuff. I just released a song that's just like real sappy, just under my name. I like it. You know what I mean? I'm either like super quiet, like and I just like love the emotion of like acoustic indie music that doesn't even have hardly drums, or I'm just like blast beats and stuff. I don't know. I mean, obviously I like stuff in the middle, but I guess I'm after like an emotion element.
Yeah.
And I find that easy to convey with the metal stuff, but also like, you know, I love the Remain song, tons of piano on it.
Yeah.
Shout out to our friend Nico Slater, did that piano. He's great. And, you know, I always kind of played piano, so I feel like they play well on each other emotionally, like letting out your shit, screaming.
Yeah.
But kind of have that melody in there. So that's another thing that wasn't as much a conscious decision. It was just like I started listening to a ton of metalcore and going to Warped Tour and just like fell hard into it. So our band that was hard rock turned into metalcore, which is why I said it was like I had to think for a second when Coney Collapse even started, because for me it's just been a linear track.
Yeah, you've just been doing it for so long.
Yeah, like when I was writing songs on piano, I was like yelling a little bit, you know, and there was like this weird like hotel booksy piano thing. I don't even know what that was. Like,
dude, hotel books, bro. Like that guy is crazy. He's so cool. Like his music is so cool to me. I don't know.
I mean, it's a good example. They're just like he wrote some spoken word and screamed it. You know what I mean? Like it's I guess is kind of what I like to do as a front man with it.
Yeah, there's a few others. There was a band I had on my podcast called Barriers. They were like that, and then like Hobo Johnson and Hotel Books. They all do that style. And it's like it's crazy, man. It's cool. It's there's a power to it. It's almost like, you know, it's like poetry's not enough for me. I don't want to just go to a poetry reading. I want to make this a song, but not a song. And it's like,
I wonder what it would be like if like he just showed up a cappella to a poetry reading and like did it in that scream voice. If people would be like, or if people would be like, oh, whoa, Jesus, like I would be curious. I'll have to reach out to him and get him on the podcast, because that'd be sick. That would be cool.
Dude,
yeah,
he's so cool. All right, bro. So totally random. Have you ever listened to or watched like Mr. Ballin on YouTube?
I don't think so. What's he do? He does like
he just tells like spooky stories and stuff, or like crazy stories that like are unbelievable. I was listening to one last night, and genuinely with your music video, it made me think of this story, because this dude, like, he meets this girl, falls in love, they get married, they have two kids, a son and a daughter, and like he's just living his whole life. So I'm just gonna tell you this story because it just blows my mind, bro, and it's gonna be, I think you're gonna appreciate it, because he's living his life, he's his wife is staying at home with the kids. He's absolutely loves being a dad. Best thing ever to him, right? And then one night he's sitting down on his couch, and his red lamp in the corner is just blurry. Everything else around him is not blurry. It's just this lamp, right? And it keeps getting worse and worse and worse over time. And you're gonna have to listen to Mr. Ball and tell it, because he's way better than I am. But it gets worse and worse over time, and he couldn't sleep, so he goes down and sits there, and he just keeps staring at it. And his wife comes down. She's like, "Hey, do we need to call the doctor? Like, there's something wrong, you know?" And he's like, he just eventually gets to a point where he's completely like non-responsive, right? He's just staring at this lamp, and eventually this lamp is basically, you know, from his perspective, is encompassing the entire room. And then a bright light comes, and he wakes up, and he's on a sidewalk at his university. Found out he got knocked out by some football player, and the last 10 years of his life were literally in his head. But he actually lived 10 years of his life, had kids, and he remembers his kids' faces, and he was like in a deep depression because he was like, I lived these 10 years while being knocked out.
Yeah, I've heard like semi-similar. That I see how that connects too. That's pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, dude. Like with your video, when I saw your music video, I thought of that story, and I was like, "Yo."
Yeah, that's wild. I've heard like some people, you know, talking about, you know, doing like DMT or whatever. Now we're going Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
But you know, like similar stuff, like waking up and, you know, feeling like you experienced something like that. And I know that gets released like when you die. So I wonder how close he was to maybe seeing a lamp like heaven or something.
Yeah.
When he got out there and maybe got a little dip of something and went on a little mini. I don't know, because like to be convinced that I mean, like you said, just going into like just a sorrow after that, like give me my life back. I mean, that's awful.
Yeah, dude. Can you imagine? Could you imagine, like, dude, like you literally lived 10 years of your life, had 2 kids, and he's like, my son is stuck in 5 years old in my head. It's like, you didn't have a son, but you did, right? It's like this crazy. Wow. Oh, dude, it's.
You want to be crazy if he ends up getting married and like has a kid and like realizes that it's the same. Like he like one night he's sitting there and has crazy deja vu, and it, like
he's like, wait, this is the life that I lived already.
Yeah, he like different names, different faces, so he didn't see it until one night or something. Wow,
dude, that'd be crazy. Yeah, dude, it's such like when that twist happened at the end of the story, when I was like, wait, hold on, I had to like rewind a little bit. I was like, wait a minute, what just happened? I was like, no way, dude, I can't even.
Light, like sunlight, like waking up, that's insane.
Yeah, dude, like because I've been married almost 10 years, and like the idea that like. Yeah, like I imagine like if I were to just wake up and be, you know, 21 again, 22 again, and not be married and like not have my 2 sons, like, cause that's the same position I'm in right now. Yeah, it like crazy. Blows my mind, right? Like, what the freak, man? That's nuts.
Single for 10 years, so maybe I'll wake up soon.
Wait a minute, I'm married right now? Yeah. Hold on, I'm a dad to 10 kids. What's going on here?
You're like, oh, what? I'm like, no, I'm in a band. They're like, what is metalcore? We don't know what that is. I'm like, no.
Dude, oh man, it just.
That's funny.
Oh, bro. Well, bro, real quick, at the end of every one of my podcasts, I always like to just ask a few random questions. Obviously, we've derailed quite a few times because I'm really good at not staying on topic. But
I'm a loose cannon.
But do you still have a couple minutes?
Yeah, I got plenty of time.
Sick. All right. So this first question is because I am a self-proclaimed what's the term when you have a disease?
You're talking about hypochondriac. No,
I'm trying to think of I can't think of the term. Anyway, I have decided that I am a sugarholic. I love sugar way too much.
Self-diagnosed.
Self-diagnosed, right? That's the term. That is the term. Thank you. I'm a self-diagnosed sugarholic. So this first question is, what's your favorite candy?
I like sour stuff for sure.
Heck yeah, dude.
Like I don't eat like a crazy amount of candy anymore, but like I sometimes like just the punch straws or the ropes, like with
Dude,
the sour on them.
so good.
Green frogs from the mall were good. I still get those sent every Christmas from an exchange student who lives in Germany now who stayed with us.
Nice.
Little green frogs, they make them better in Germany. And like every year,
Really?
so much candy from around like the globe get finished chocolate. We had a couple growing up,
That's
and
cool.
it's just like man, like I don't need this. I'm put on like 20 pounds this fall. But yeah, I like sour stuff, and yeah, I got a taste for like the fancy European chocolate now. You know, the Hershey's doesn't do it the same.
Yeah,
But
just a little bougie, you know, just a little
yeah, I'm like
bougie.
bougie.
I love it, dude. All right. Next question here. This one, you know, if you can't come up with your number one answer, I will accept your top three because sometimes it's hard to come up with a single answer to this one.
Like I just did with candy.
Yeah, no. That's that like, you know, I guess for me, like sour is like a type, like a specific candy,
Yeah,
right?
it's like everything that's sour is the same thing sprinkled on it.
Yeah, it's a category, but it is a very specific candy still.
Yeah, I feel
And
you.
yeah, like I'm all about the Sour Patch, you know.
I love so yeah. I don't like the green or the yellow though. I don't like those ones.
Dude, I freaking love all of them. I just
Yeah, you're a man of the people.
there was one that was real bad though. It was a mystery flavor that was like
white. Was it white?
the white one.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was
that was like Airheads back in the day, and there was like a rumor going around elementary school that it was broccoli flavored. Everybody stopped buying it, and I think they just shut it down after the white Airheads. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember the white Airheads. I actually liked. So I found out that like the white Dum Dum, the white Airhead, like those ones were literally just like their changeover flavor. It was like, hey, we need to change over from this flavor to this flavor. So this is a mixture of multiple flavors in one, and we're just not going to add color to it.
Oh, that makes sense because it never really tasted like
it was never
anything.
it was never consistent either.
That makes sense. And they had those contests like guess the flavor, win something, and like I just always assumed some schmuck out there figured it out, but I also don't know what the answer is, and that's wild.
Well, they did like there were times where they actually had flavors, but there were times where like that it was just like the changeover. It was like, oh yeah, this is this one now.
That's good. That's good. That's good trivia. Thanks
yeah, the white Sour Patch though. I can't. What flavor was it? It was some sort of it was banana pudding or banana cream pie or something.
Fuck off.
That is not a flavor that belongs as a Sour Patch. I'll tell you that.
I gotta try that. I'm gonna keep a lookout.
You can't. It's intriguing that you can't not try it, but yeah, it's not meant to be.
You tried the key lime pie Kit Kat because it's not bad.
I haven't tried that one yet. I've seen all these new Kit Kats.
I don't know what they're on. They're like trying to stay relevant or something.
Yeah,
like
they've got like they're like apple pie, key lime pie. Like I'm like, dude,
I like mint. You know,
the moment they have a peach cobbler one, I probably will break down and buy it almost instantly. I love peach everything, dude. Like found
rings,
peach rings are so good, dude. There was I'm obsessed with that stuff. All right, so next one. What?
Yeah. No, nothing. I just said yeah. So we like candy.
Yeah, we do. Yep. All right, next one. Favorite movie.
Oh shit! All right, I knew this was going somewhere. God, that is a hard one. See, I like love movies, but I've never been great with favorites. Period. Like that goes back a long way. Just teachers being like, pick a favorite, and I'm like, no. But
I'm gonna be belligerent. That's right. I'm a metalcore kid.
I didn't know at the time, but you know, I really liked Interstellar.
So good.
I thought that was really good. And put that on there. I'm gonna throw a ghost story in there because I saw that, and there's a ghost on like an album cover that's coming out later this year. Like I ran with that imagery a lot. Like I don't know if I would call it like one of my favorite 2 hours ever sitting down and watching a movie, because it was actually like, you know, it makes you think the whole time. It was like a wild experience actually, and it's slow. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's like
I'd never even heard of it.
It's A24. They're the people who made like Midsummer and like all those like.
Oh, okay, like the super trippy ones.
Yeah, but this one's interesting. If you ever, it's really slow. Like there's not a lot of dialogue, and it's like one of those movies where they show like a guy walking up his driveway for like 2 minutes instead of just cutting to the next scene. But
Oh
like
yeah.
it's a crazy experience. Anyway, so I definitely like threw some stuff. Actually, there's a Ghost in Love That Remains single art too. I ran with the Ghost thing a lot after seeing
Okay.
it. So I'm gonna mention that because we're still supposed to be talking about music. And then this isn't even like a favorites list. This is just something I saw recently. I recently saw this movie called Palm Springs with like Andy Samberg in it.
Is that the one
That
where he relives every day?
yeah, it's like a Groundhog Day. Like a
Groundhog's
Pittsburgh.
Day, but with like a wedding or something.
Yeah, like I like again. That's not really my top three of all time. It's like three I've seen in the last year.
Yeah.
But I just saw that one,
Well, you
and
said you love love stories. Or like what are like
I
love
I
like
do I
what are the
do. And
love stories that you love?
what's that? What are
Like
other love stories?
Notebook or what?
Sorry, say it one more time.
Like the Notebook or what? Like what love stories are the ones that you love?
The Notebook. The guy's named Noah. It's too real for me. You know? No, I like almost like every romantic comedy I ever see, even the ones that are like a step below, like the rest of them. Like, what did I just see recently? I saw a movie called How to Be Single that I thought was good. I saw Sleeping with Other People. I thought that was good because Alison Brie is just like, she's cool. I like anything. I honestly, I grew up like watching movies with my sister, my mom. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah,
like,
dude.
my brother was too young to pick, so like I like romantic comedies.
There you go,
So
dude.
yeah, this girl told me to watch Palm Springs, and I thought I was getting into
A girl movie. Just kidding.
like a romantic comedy, and then he just starts like it got kind of like psychological and crazy. Like it was like a corny concept made fresh. I
Okay.
actually thought, and also Andy Samberg is in it and not being silly, and it just like it threw me for a loop. It really
That's
did.
cool. That's cool.
So yeah, I don't know. I watched. If anybody has movie suggestions, hit me up. I'll watch literally anything.
Well, in my house, Christmas starts before Halloween. So my wife has already been jumping into the Christmas everything, and for her birthday every year, we decorate our whole place for Christmas and stuff. Which is her birthday's November 6th, right? So
nice.
we've got our tree up, we've got all our lights up and stuff. But with that comes Christmas movies, and there was actually one that we watched recently, which was pretty good.
Holiday.
No, it was.
It's on the front of Netflix right now. Okay,
it is on Netflix, I think. It's got the girl who plays in that Vampire Diaries show. What is it called? Is it called like Love Hard or Hard Love or something like that? It's like a, I don't know. She gets it's this girl who's writing like dating columns, but her dating life is miserable, and so it's like her story. It's pretty good. She you'd probably like it. I actually enjoyed it. My wife and I watched it like a week or two ago or something. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. I think part of the reason I like that genre so much is because similar to metalcore, there's like a lot of fluff in it, but I like it anyway. Like sometimes I'll see a rom-com and like you'll get same with like mysteries, whatever. You'll get so much shit on Rotten Tomatoes just for it following genre
norms,
staples or whatever,
yeah.
Which is like, well, that's what makes something fit into a genre. Like you're allowed to like hit the boxes when you're trying to make a movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
So I'll like even the ones that have like 40%. And then there are a few where I recognize, all right, that was significantly better written and shot than most of them. But I still appreciate that because I like the genre at large, which I feel like could be said for like metal too.
Yeah, there you go, dude. Rom-coms and metal, what they have in common. I love it.
Put me in a box.
What they have in common, Noah. I love it. All right, dude. Last one here for you. Favorite non-music related hobby? I don't know. This one's always a hard one because it's like no one does anything that's not music related.
Yeah, I mean, I already talked about like sports stuff, so I'm trying to think of something else besides just like walking around the neighborhood and me talking. Like, I mean, the neighbors here had to get used to us when we moved in because we just put hoods on and walk in circles, and they're like, they're loitering, and I'm like, I live here. All right, I don't want to hear it from you guys. I like it outside, but what is considered even a hobby? Fucking, that's crazy.
Something you like to do, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
video games, watching movies.
See, I'm not a watching movies is probably one of them.
Cooking.
I'm not a huge Yeah, I cook. I do cook. I don't do it as much though because I worked in a lot of kitchens. You know what I mean? So like but I
You got
can
burnt
cook. If
out
I'm
on
ever
it.
like out with a girl or something, I'll be like, surprise, I can cook. Like,
Surprise! I'm the best you've ever seen.
yeah, I'm watching rom coms and I'm cooking. But no, I mean, I like to run around a little bit. Like I said, every once in a while, I definitely like doing that rugby stuff still, and getting blowing off a little steam doing that. And yeah, I just like hanging out with. I'm trying to think of something, but that's probably what it is because I spend a lot of time doing music and
Yeah,
driving around, bringing people food on DoorDash, which I also sometimes like. Man, I like driving.
it's got to be
I've been,
relaxing at times.
it can be. I just listen to my own demos and pick them apart while I'm also bringing someone a pizza. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, I love it, bro. I recently rediscovered Legos. I am,
Oh shit!
dude.
I've been to Legoland. That shit was cool.
I'll bet, dude. I've never been to Legoland,
Oh
but
well.
yeah, dude. I recently got just
Oh, that's cool.
way into Legos again. Like I
You building like huge stuff.
I mean, give me just a second.
Yeah.
This is my new pride and joy right now.
I'm gonna ask. Is there an instruction book, or you just do what you do?
Oh, this is definitely this one definitely had instructions. This is
Is that
the Home
like a Home
Alone
Alone?
the Home Alone house.
Did you see how I said it? It's because I was putting the Christmas stuff together.
Yeah,
Oh wow, it
dude.
opens up.
Yeah, bro, it's freaking amazing. And
Does it come with like the people and bricks to throw at their heads?
yeah, well, yeah, dude, look it's got little Michael Jordan that spin. He like goes around in
Oh, it's
circles.
got all the Rube Goldbergs. That's freaking sick, dude.
Yeah, and then upstairs you got Buzz's bedroom, and like the shelves even fall. Like it's freaking
Wow.
incredible, dude. It's
So this is why you asked the question about the hobbies, knowing damn well I'd have
No.
to, and then you go check it
No.
out. I got it.
No, I have been so this was one of the things, like I had zero intention of getting this, right? Like
Yeah,
I figured my
cool.
cuz
Really.
it's an expensive hobby, right? But like my wife I went out and got wings with my buddies one day, and I was
Yeah.
like, and they're like, dude, found the best thing ever. And he shows me this Lego set, and I was like, yeah, that's cool, but I won't ever get it. And then I get home that night, and my wife was like, hey, would you be upset if I bought you a Christmas present that was like $250? And I was like, I mean, if it's what I'm thinking it is, then no. And she's like, what are you thinking it is? And I pulled this up because my buddy just barely showed it to me, right? And she's like, no way. What are the odds? And yeah, so we pre-ordered it, and dude, it's amazing.
Legos in a long time. That's pretty cool. I also liked like Tinker Toys and Lincoln Logs as a
Dude.
kid. So like, I wonder. I don't know if I have the discipline to do something as complicated as that though. That's pretty awesome. Like,
Dude, I mean, I'm not like what did they say in like the Lego movie, like a master builder. I just build from the instructions, right? Like I just did this Supra last night. Little Toyota Supra.
yeah, it's just probably like you said, like relaxing. Like a
Oh,
little
it's so
meditative
relaxing,
thing.
dude. I literally just like turn on a podcast, like typically Joe Rogan. I'll turn on Joe Rogan's podcast and just work on it. Last night I watched Star Wars while doing it. It was great.
That's all. Well, yeah. It's shame. Next time, throw on some Colony Collapse and I don't know what you would do. Smash them all to that music or something. It's not exactly
Goodbye.
relaxing. But
Christmas is over. Just throw it on the ground.
no, don't do it.
Oh,
Don't do it. That'd be
dude.
so sad.
That would be so sad. No, this is gonna be a year-round display. Like I'm literally looking for a bookshelf to have it just sitting behind me.
How long did that take, real quick?
So I got it. It probably took me about 10 hours to build because I got it on Wednesday of last week. And
Oh,
then
okay.
I built it Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Friday night.
Jumped right in.
Yeah, dude. My wife was like, "That's your Christmas present." I was like, "Yeah, but I don't have the discipline or patience to not open it and put it together right now. I have to because I was just obsessed."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool,
dude.
man.
No, it's I would if you're looking for a hobby,
Yeah.
Legos is a good one. You know, it's a good one.
I love it.
I literally had zero intention of bringing that up, but yeah, I just
I'm
had
glad
that
you
thought.
did.
So
Yeah, I'm glad I know that exists now. Like, With the moving parts, that's sick.
Yeah, dude. There's like, look at this. This like the top, like it has so many details. Like there's also the tree house. It came with the tree house, and it came with the little plumber van that Marv and Harry drive, right? Like everything.
Those are their names.
It's freaking
That's
incredible.
So
Yeah, dude. Oh, this is my favorite Christmas movie of all time. Like I watch it like at least.
You watched the reboot?
I watched the first and second one. Those are the only ones that I watch.
Aren't they rebooting it right now?
Oh yeah, they're making a brand new one, huh? Yeah, I don't know. I'll watch it
I want
because
to see if it's like violent or if they're gonna take all that out of it. You know what I mean?
yeah, I'm
It's
curious. It's gonna be on Disney Plus, so I have Disney Plus, so at least I can watch it. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, I'm gonna check out real quick before I let you go. What's the rom com thing? With Love Hard? Is that what it is?
Yeah, let me look it up. I've got IMDb right
What
here
you
on
gonna
my
do? Look
iPad.
up Vampire Diaries.
Yeah. That whatever that girl's name is. Yeah, she's in it. She was actually pretty good. Like my wife loved Vampire Diaries. I was not a fan of it. Let me look it up here. Love Hard. Yeah, Love Hard is what it's called. And it's on Netflix.
Hang on, I'm about to cue it up.
Yeah, dude.
Watch some Love Hard. That's the opposite of what people thought they were getting from like, the metal podcast. And I'm just like, dude.
Now everyone has a recommendation for a Christmas rom-com, dude.
Yeah. Oh, this is 2021.
Yeah, it's brand new.
90% match. I don't know if you can see that, but they know.
It's at 100% match.
Yeah, almost. Probably because I watched like ghost movie.
Yeah, they're like we're fairly certain you're gonna love this, but we can't guarantee it.
We know you're a little soft, but
yeah, dude. Well, now you can message me and let me know if you actually enjoyed it or not, and see if I actually gave a good recommendation.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a text about it.
Heck yeah, dude. Well, bro, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. Like I said, I'm really humbled that you did take the time, and even though I don't listen to a whole lot of metalcore, I do appreciate how awesome what you guys are doing is, and huge congrats. Obviously the music video that I watched was incredible, like really, really well done. I loved the storytelling, and so you guys have more music coming in the future, right? Or coming pretty soon here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, none of it's official yet, so I'm supposed to be ambiguous, but
Okay.
definitely the song is part of a larger whole, and all will become clear probably in like a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? So there's stuff on the horizon.
All right, keep your eyes peeled. In other words, and before you go, tell the people where they can find you. Yeah,
so I mean, it's Colony Collapse Band on Instagram, Colony Collapse on Facebook. I'm at ncorey, KHOREY. That's where you can find the softer stuff and the real behind the scenes content of the stuff they won't let me post on the band page. No, I'm just fine.
Your rom-com side will come out on the ncorey page.
Get your real rom-com reviews, not that Rotten Tomatoes,
lies
stuff.
I love it, dude. Awesome, bro. Well, you have a stellar evening, man.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me, man.
All right, dude. Peace out. Awesome. What a cool dude. That was a really cool interview. Noah's a rad dude. And like I said, I mean, look at this. Look at this thing. It's incredible, right? Like, look how absolutely incredible this thing is. It's going to be on display at all times in this office as soon as I find a good home for it. 'Cause it's amazing. Anyway, I hope you guys have, oh boy, I'm breaking stuff. Oh no. Hope you guys have a stellar rest of your evening, and we will be catching you potentially tomorrow. I have to find out from Ronks if that's still on, but if it's tomorrow, it'll be a band called Ronks. And then Saturday, Jordan Searcy. I'll have to ask him how to pronounce his last name. I think it's Sarcy. And then potentially one on Friday as well. So we're gonna have like a bomb type of release schedule here for these streams. But